Hello, my name is Lily and welcome to my niche, and it's a sewing video today. So recently my older brother gifted me his pair of overalls that are usually used for school events. They're themed around your school colors. In my case, they're maroon and gold for the University of Minnesota. And I was really grateful because these game bibs is what they're called, are usually pretty expensive, brand new. So I was really happy that he gave them to me for my own college experience, except for my brother is 6'2", so they were a little big to say the least. So I decided to revamp them into a skirt. And here's how. So for starters, I cut off a portion of the pant leg because I already knew that they were way too long because they already didn't fit my legs, and I knew I wouldn't want a skirt that long. So I cut off about a foot, and I ended up actually cutting off more later on due to the fact that I still wanted the skirt shorter, so you'll see me cut off more later. But to start off with that, after having cut off some of the pant leg, I then proceeded to cut down the seams on the inside of the pant legs so that way it was open to make a skirt out of it. After that, I then laid the bibs flat on the floor and I started to pin into a straight line. And for these, because they have vertical stripes on them, I actually just used one of the stripes as a guide for the straight line, which was really helpful because then you don't have to think about it as much. Remember, we're pinning this on the ugly side, the inside that would be facing in towards your body, because we don't want seams sticking out. So once I pinned it on the front and the back ends, I then ran that through my sewing machine really quickly, and I did a regular zigzag stitch. And then after I finished that, we now had a basic skirt shape, and it was still ridiculously big. So I had to find a way to slim that down some more. I already knew that the waist was too big for me, so I had to then kind of puzzle out a way to make it so that way the waist would fit. So I started to pin, and I eventually ended up pinning off some fabric to make it that the buttons on the sides could still open, but the fabric was now cinched in a bit. It was taken in more. So I then proceeded to run the bibs through my sewing machine with another zigzag stitch, and with that, I then moved on to the bottom. After I cut off some more to make it even shorter, I then folded over the fabric and I pinned it, and then I did a straight stitch across the bottom to make a hemline so that way it would have a nice folded edge. But then as I looked at it, I realized I didn't really like the length of it. It was still a little bit too long. It was going down past my knees. So then I proceeded to go and make it even shorter. So I folded it up again, pinned it, and then sewed yet another straight seam around it. And then I cut off excess fabric that was underneath. After having folded it and hemmed it, I was really happy with that hem, and then I was left with my final product. And that's how I made my bibs into a skirt. I think it looks super cute. So if you have game bibs, or at my school they're called Gohperalls, I think, and you want to not have them be pants, you want actual like a skirt and feel cute, here's how you can do that. It's a pretty straightforward project, really just cutting open seams and making sure you're doing straight stitches across them. It's very straightforward. I had to take in the waist, but if you were to get something that was actually in your size, you likely wouldn't. They'd probably be a little bit more fitted, or they're kind of meant to be a little big, but this way it wouldn't be like you're drowning in them like I was. So yeah, it's a pretty simple project. It's a very quick video. I hope it helped though if you're new to sewing, or you were kind of like, these are ugly and I want them to be cute. You could also do a bunch with the excess fabric if you ended up with a larger size like I did. I almost considered putting sleeves on my bibs, but I ended up going against it because the fabric wasn't quite long enough to be a proper sleeve. It would have been at about the elbow length, and I didn't quite like that. You could also try to make hair bands out of them, like scrunchies. Doing the same thing as the handle, you make a tube and then you put a piece of elastic in there, and then you sew the fabric shut with like a zigzag stitch or a straight stitch, and then you can have a little scrunchie to put in your hair if you wanted. There's endless possibilities really with the excess fabric. You could, depending on how much you have, obviously. Scrunchies is a pretty popular one because it's very simple and straightforward. But yeah, It's a very simple project, but I thought it was kind of fun to watch and I really enjoyed making it. So yeah, and I managed to bang this out in like one evening. It maybe took me, I'll overestimate and say it took about 2 hours. So yeah, it was a really quick project, really easy, and I think a beginner could do it. You just need scissors and a sewing machine. You could even do this by hand actually, hand stitching, but it's just a lot of work. It's a lot faster with a machine. So yeah, I know this is a short video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it nonetheless. If you did, please consider comment, liking, and subscribing, and possibly hitting that bell notification if you really like my stuff. I'm currently trying to get to 100 subscribers, so that would mean a lot to me. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time. Until then, my name's been Lily, and this has been my niche. Bye!